Hey, this is Fly from ChiTownRocks.com, and I'm here with Chicago-based band Emperors and Elephants. How you doing, guys?
What's going on?
Good. When did the band form, and who formed the band?
The band formed a few years ago, and it was basically started out with Jeff and I, and we just we're just screwing around. We've been together for a long time prior to that. And Jeff kind of came and said, "Hey, dude, let's try it again, and see what we can do." And I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And we just we're just messing around. But Jeff was coming up with some really sick licks, just some really killer guitar parts where it's like, you know what, it's we work so well together because I play drums, and it's like, and I always look at us as like it's how you see Dimebag and Vinnie Paul, two brothers.
Right.
They're usually you hear drums and bass are in the pocket.
Right.
Him and I always we knew where to start a song and end a song. So move a little bit forward. We were just out hanging out drinking one night at a club, and we saw this guy Ron playing bass, opening up for a band, and I was like, I think I know that dude. And I'm like, because I've seen him around the circuit for years, and so I just finally we had a couple cocktails. Like, dude, you want to audition for us? And it's like, sure. So we kind of grabbed Ron on board, and then a little bit further down the line, where we met Jesse. I was at a really crappy club, and had a terrible PA, and everything it was just a shitty band on stage. Not dissing the band in general, but the vocals that I heard coming out did not match up with the band.
And you were kind of thinking it kind of matches up a lot better with us.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I just kept listening to song after song, and then I because I kept thinking, oh, he's gonna suck the next song. He'll suck. He'll lose it here. And he just kept hitting it. And then I went up in the front row and I watched him. I'm like, dude, he was shy. It was funny because I always say it's like, it reminded me like just kind of Kurt Cobain up there, just with his hair in his face and all that. But he's belting out these freaking lyrics that just blew you the frick away, And after the show, I'm just like, hey, dude, are you interested in come and check out our band? And he was cool. He's like, dude, I know ya. It's like I seen you around. So, and then he always says,
at the time, I was pretty shy. I was into that whole Eddie Vedder, Kurt Cobain thing where I just grew my hair out, and I felt like the singer just stood in front of the mic stand, belted it out, and I remember, afterwards, someone came up to me, I don't even remember who it was, and was like, you need to go talk to that guy. He was really interested, and so I went up to him, and I'd actually seen him, maybe a few months prior at, some Battle of the Bands with Tim King. They were, hanging out, and they were, wasted. And I was outside and I went up to Tim King and fanboy, and I was like, oh my god, it's so cool to meet you, because I grew up listening to Soil. And I remember they were like, oh, are you in a band? And I was like, yeah, I'm a musician. And they were like, well, I bet you play bass. And I was like, no, I'm a singer. And they were like, something like that, something along those lines. And I was like, okay. So I just walked out. I was like, thanks for talking. Anyway, a few months later, and so he talks to me about this band, this project, and at the time, I don't think that they, he didn't approach me going we're gonna be really serious, we're gonna have, we're gonna go for it. He pretty much kind of just threw it out there hey, why don't, we're jamming.
Why don't you come on out?
Yeah, why don't you come out and just kind of hang out.
See if it fits.
Yeah, exactly. And because I personally, from what I remember, I don't necessarily think Jeff and Jason, when they first started Emperors, had the initial goal of taking it this far. Obviously, if that's how it played out, great.
Well, with the licks that I've heard and stuff, I mean, it's obvious. The writing's on the wall. It's a really good groove, and there's some really catchy hooks in those songs. So.
Yeah, and Jason pretty much just wined and dined me with Incubus tickets. he had these 2 Incubus tickets that someone had handed off to him, because he's just Jason Moyt and he knows everyone. And I'm surprised he didn't know the Incubus.
Right.
And he pretty much, so then that, it's funny because I remember I went to the show with my friend. And I remember like thinking, if these tickets are bullshit, then I'm not gonna go jam with this guy. Like if these tickets,
right? If you can't trust them, then
exactly. Like if I go to the gate, and they're like, yeah, this is for last week's show, I'm not gonna go. But anyway, I go to the gate, and not only are they real, but they're VIP tickets.
Nice.
Oh really?
And yeah,
oh
yeah.
Welcome.
and so it was at that point that I was like, all right, I'm gonna give this guy a call, and. How the band actually got started was I had actually sent you a few tracks that I had recorded.
Demo work?
Yeah, just like real rough stuff at my girlfriend at the time's like dad's studio or something like that. Like I just like went and recorded a few songs and I sent it to them and they were really impressed and they asked me to come over. And I'll never forget like one of the, to make it real quick, one of the things that I just remember was when I first came in, I didn't knock on the door. I didn't call anyone and tell them I was there. I literally just walked in, and I kind of remember that just being like, all right, I'm in. Like that was like, and so yeah, that's pretty much how it got started.
Cool. What how did you guys come up with that name? Because that's kind of that's a different name. That's nothing that's really. Normal. Right. Emperors and elephants.
I actually came up with it, but I'm going to let him answer it because he gets this question over time. Let's see if he gets it right.
Okay, well, side note, Jason's always been in bands with animal names. So that was part of it. That was part of it, obviously. That was a big part of it. But from what I have grasped from the idea and what Jeff has explained to me over time is that it's two conflicting sayings. And it's the emperor's new clothes and the elephant in the room. And an emperor is someone that you hold to to such high standards. Right. And you wouldn't necessarily notice, if he was wearing new clothes because he always is so lavish and so incredible looking. And then the elephant in the room is the thing that you notice right away. So it's like two different stories that he just kind of combined. I don't really know exactly the thought process that went through your... You
got that 80%.
Yeah, 80. Okay. All right. I'll take that. I'll take it.
It sounds very, Indian type, European.
Yeah. I get
China, old, right?
Not necessarily.
It's like this medieval feel to it, to the name. All right, so I guess we'll talk with Jason. How did it come about... with Pavement Records?
Well, real quick before the Pavement, one thing we didn't finish saying how we got together. We still have another guitar player that's not here, Randy Cooper.
Oh yeah.
And which he used to be in the band Texas Hippie Coalition.
Right.
And him and I have been buds for years, so he just kind of came on board, and we pretty much had the album recorded at the time. But when he came on, Jeff. Just was like, dude, we want you to come in. I want you to lay down. Go ahead, put your rhythm track. Yeah, open arms. Lay down that rhythm track.
Now, did you have another guitarist that did the album with you?
No. It was
so you did single work and
yeah.
Okay.
But then he did open them up and said, hey, dude, here, take these solos too. So we wanted to have him flavor in that album too, because he's just a part of it just as much as any of us.
And it's really cool because now that I'm on my like 500th listen through the album, you can really tell the difference between the two, and it's something I've always really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I was telling you guys earlier, man, the guitar work on this album it's great. I mean, I love it. I love the rhythms are really good and catchy, but the lead playing is phenomenal. So. All right, that being said, Ron, where did you guys actually record this album, and who engineered and produced it for you guys?
Well, I have a good friend that I've known for quite some years. His name's Brad Dossman.
Okay.
He has a place called Angry Man Studios.
Okay.
And it's pretty close by in the area here, and we thought we would go to him because it felt like a good place for us to go and get some rough.
I got to tell you, it sounds great. So
he actually did all the production on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got lucky because actually behind his house is a lake, long lake, and he actually was living on the other side of the lake. So it's really nice. We could just drive 5 minutes down the road and go try to do whatever.
I liked it because I lived there, so I can actually just walk to the studio. So I was a lazy one. I'm like, yeah, we'll go to his studio, but no, seriously, no.
Yeah, right.
No, he's awesome, dude, man.
And the coolest thing was we've all been in bands and we've all recorded stuff, and I've worked with engineers. We all have, and One of the coolest things about Brad was, you know, like I'm a little ADD, you know, like I just like I you know, I can't
Most
focus.
vocalists are.
I can't focus on, you know, just one thing. And Brad has the quickest hands when it comes to record. Like he's just record, and he was so good about like every little idea that I wanted to throw down. Like he would record it. He'd have like 30 freaking tracks, and it would all just be me doing different things. And he was okay with it because it was so quick. And you know, it was probably the most.
Just pick and choose.
Yeah, it was definitely the easiest, most rewarding, process I've ever had with an engineer.
You know, as a guitarist, I mean, the easier and I guess nicer the engineer is, the more it makes it like a better feel to the album, because you're not stressed out and you're not. You know, you don't have someone breathing down your back all the time.
Brad wants you to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I live and breathe by the statement that the engineer and the producer of every record's that, you know, another member of the band.
The fifth member,
Fifth or sixth. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're just, you know, you can look through everyone's category, everyone's library of music, and you can tell, you know, like this album feels different than the other one, and this one, you know what I mean, and so. It's very important.
Jason, tell me about the radio circulation. 95.1 Will Rock on, you know, your first single.
Sure. Yeah, actually, well, I mean, it's the single came out a couple weeks or last week, and so it's not just Will Rock. It went nationwide, actually worldwide. But we've been getting the feedback from it from every different, you know, every different state, you know, other stations and everything, and it was really cool because, you know, we heard like how it's going into rotation, and we're getting the DJs writing back, going, "Dude, this is the best song." Where one of my favorite ones was a station out of Iowa, and the guy was like, he was a morning guy, and he goes, I'm the morning guy from 7 to 10. He goes, I could not wait to play the single. I put it on at 6:45. As soon as I got there, I jammed it. I'm like, that right on.
It woke him up. For the day.
Hell yeah! And today Jeff texted me. He's like, dude, we're on the radio right now on another station. I'm like, okay. And I didn't think too much of it. And I went online and I turned it on. It's like all of a sudden it's like we were the highlight of the guy's radio show. It was it Crank It or Yank It? I think that's what it was. So,
sure how you woke up.
but it was cool because that I listened to the whole show, and at the end of the show, you know, they played our song, and at the end of the show, he goes, "Wow," he goes, as long as I've been doing the show, I've never had any band get 100% Crank It." And he goes, "I'm gonna be hearing a lot more of these guys, you know, like rotation and whatnot." So I mean, it's every interview we've been getting, radio, whatever, everything's been
positive.
Yeah,
that's great, man. And the album's really not even out yet, is it?
No, just a single.
So that's good. Speaking of Jeff, let's talk about your first video, "Who You Are." Who produced it? Where did you guys film that? And how did that all come about?
He produced it. And we filmed it in the garage.
You did?
Basement?
No, Who You Are, we did in the basement.
That's right. It's a lyric video. We had a plan for a lyric video, and we ran out of time to get it done. So we're like, let's just do this. So it's kind of a mix of, I don't know, like traditional lyric videos are more just, I don't know, people go film a building or they go film
a wall,
trees or a wall,
or there's pictures.
And they put computers. So we went a little bit extra. We filmed a little bit of us playing,
jamming,
him singing, and you know, but it's got the lyrics up there. So we may.
It was no intentions of being a music video. It was a lyric video, but I kind of went, you know, I just told the guys, I'm coming out with my camera. Let's see what we can do.
See what we could get.
And I have a feeling though that, you know, like if I know my drummer, which I'm pretty sure I do, that I don't think he's 100% satisfied with it, and I feel like there will be a full-fledged conceptual video.
I was just about to ask you. My next question was, any plans for a second video soon? And would it have like a concept to it?
Yeah.
And more funded by Pavement, and stuff like that?
It's one of those things where, like, every interview that I give, like, I always say that Jason's kind of the guy we follow blindly, you know, and the reason we do so is you know, like I feel like I'm always like, you know, one step ahead, and maybe Jeff's like 5 and Ron's, you know, 5 or 6 and Jason's like 45 steps ahead.
Does he have the artistic?
Yeah, you know, Jason's
he has good artistic
yeah,
vision.
Jason's just got that eye, you know, and it's one of those things where, you know, he came up with you know, the album name, and he came up and he did all the artwork for it, and you know, that conversation pretty much just went, hey guys, trust me.
Yeah.
And you know, there were
Isn't that what Rob Zombie has been doing for 20 years?
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I have a question. What does the album name mean? I know what the name is. What does it mean?
Oh,
What is it, Devil in the Lake?
Devil in the Lake. Actually, it's kind of funny because it's a couple different concepts. One is, well, actually, the main thing is when I was a kid, I used to go to up in Wisconsin. I used to go to Devil's Lake, and I used to think that was the coolest thing ever. And it kind of had like a little evil kind of feel to it. You know, there's a lot of history and stuff with, you know, behind it and all that. And I just figure, I'm like, you know what? What if the you know, the devil can be a woman, and you know, and there's a chick on the cover and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know. That was the main thing, and then also my girlfriend always calls me the devil too, so it kind of always sticks in my head.
You live on a
you know, for me, it's just kind of one of those things where, like, you know, now that I've listened to the record, and you know, the lyrics on the record are mine, and once Jason kind of came up with the name, I started kind of putting 2 and 2 together. And one of the things, a theme that happens to go throughout the album, it is just a lot of overcoming something. And the temptation of things,
right?
And so, like, in my mind, I get this image of just someone walking into a lake, you know, and being something bigger out there, and something obviously luring said person out. Yeah. And you know, obviously with the name, you know, it would be the devil, but the devil, you know, takes many forms. It could be money, it could be, you know, women, it could be drugs, and it's just anything that tempts you. And I feel like the album, by the end of it, you know, you have a feeling of overcoming it. So I feel like for me, it's just someone kind of going through that process of drowning and then kind of just coming out the other end.
Right. That's a good concept. That's a great concept. Let's
just edit all of that and just.
You know what? I'll ask Jason. In this day and age, how has the social media really helped your band, and has it hurt your band at all?
Oh, well, you know what? I mean, one thing I'll say, and it kind of goes with the question that you asked earlier to me that I didn't really get to jump into much about, is, you know, being on Pavement Records. You know, when once we got with them, you know, because we had a couple other, you know, things on the table. You know, Randy, our other guitar player, was able to, you know, kind of help us out, get us some other interests outside of, you know, some other different labels and whatnot. Being, you know, getting with Pavement, that definitely helped us open up, and what they're, how do I explain? Like when we got on with them, everything that they were telling us that they're going to do for us, they did, and we can talk to them and be a part of it, and they're giving us free ability with whatever our concepts are. They're not saying, no, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. You know, so they're getting us on the radio. They're getting us, you know, our publicists, and helping us with our bookings, you know, getting a tour going, everything like that. So just kind of answer your question, yeah, it was, we kind of started noticing once we got with the label, that kind of started opening doors, and we started seeing the light, you know.
And you find that it really opens a lot more doors as far as gaining a wider range of fans.
Absolutely.
And people not only across the country but across the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we do live in a good time with all this social media. It could be bad in some ways, but if you're promoting your band, and so essentially it's free promotion.
Sure.
You know, on your Facebook and all this stuff.
You were doing an interview the other day. I was listening in. Who called it? What country were they in? Some girl called in.
It was like Germany or something.
It was something. Yeah. But it was just so cool. It's like I'm listening to him live, and you know, I'm like, somebody in Germany's chiming in and all that.
Wow.
I'm like, that's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, like you said, you know, like times are different. You know, like long gone are the days of, you know, record companies giving you Mercedes and, you know, taking you out to dinner and stuff. But on the flip side of it, touring and marketing are just easier.
It is because of the internet.
And, long gone are the days of big record deals, but also long gone are the days of flyers standing outside of clubs and putting them on windshields. So it's like,
tell me about the song "Your Will." What's the meaning behind that song?
Your will is definitely 100% what I touched on before. Your will is someone who can't breathe, who's suffocating, drowning, who is just incredibly smothered by someone else's control over them. And it talks about constriction in the neck, and it talks about not having the air to breathe, and how one of the lyrics, exact lyrics is that my lungs cave in underneath your will. It's something very, very, very reflective of just past relationships I've had, with my father and stuff like that, and in just certain people throughout my life. And it's definitely just about, at the end of it, it's really not a happy song. Like, it doesn't end well, but it's a piece of the puzzle, because by the end of the album it does. Like, by the end of the album, the last song, not the remix of Man of God, but the song before that, that song is the end of everything. It's the recap, and Your Will is definitely part of the little trilogy I have in my head, of Bring It Down, Your Will, and Dead Sleep, of the exact same topic of just kind of being suffocated and needing to change something.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. I guess, Jeff, let's talk about like gear, because I'm a guitarist.
Uh-oh.
So, do you guys have any endorsements, or do you are you kind of just playing your own?
Working
gear?
on it. Working on it.
What do you prefer as far as guitar and as far as amp wise?
Schecter.
I play Schecter guitars.
Okay.
So like that.
Diamond series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got like 7.
This conversation
soul
will be
systems.
2 hours long.
Thank you. I bring 3 or 4 of them out.
You do have a pretty sweet Razorback that you got custom painted.
It did, yeah. So, and then like amps, I play line 6 of Veta 2.
Okay.
So, and that's a good contrast between me and Randy. Randy's very old school. He's got an old Marshall head.
He's probably got a beefed up Marshall head.
He's got the I was just talking to him today.
Dude, his Marshall literally looks like it'd been through World War II.
Most of them do.
He just got it retubed recently. I was talking with him today. He got some new tubes in there. So he didn't get he didn't get like stock tubes. He's got something special. He's got the
modified ones.
Right.
He's got some amp doctor down.
They probably say
they get it hot rodded, and those Marshalls just stay.
It's a good balance, because I've got I use the digital stuff, the modern stuff. And he's got that old school stuff.
Got more of that tube sound.
And he's got the old stomp boxes. Mine's all in the head, and it's a good blend. Every bass is covered. So.
What about drums? I mean, what do you?
Oh, I'm endorsed by D-Drum.
Okay.
And which it's affiliated with Dean Guitars, where we got a few Deans. Randy Cooper, he's endorsed by Dean Guitars, and man, they got a great tone. I'm on my second set, and like the first set, actually I love the first set, but it had a 20-inch bass drum, and everyone's like, dude, you're too tall, too big back there. You're beating the hell out of that
Jason
stuff.
breaks every stereotype of drummers. Usually they're real tiny.
Yeah.
Jason's massive.
Like you're in a circus or something.
Yeah, it's reversed.
Like his first kid, he was just like, he towered over that thing.
Yeah, so I called Felix DeLuna down at D-Tron. Like, dude, you set me up with something. I'm like,
what, like a 24 or something?
Yeah, 24-inch, and and because I'm like, now that we're playing out, going to the studio, touring and stuff, I'm like, I need something really durable, which my first kit was, but I just need something better. And man, you
kind of outgrew that first kit.
Yeah, but it brought with an A game, man. That tone in there, it's just I'm very happy.
That's awesome. Now, what about bass gear? What's your poison?
I'm a Gibson player.
You are, huh?
It's a weird guy right here.
I have several Gibson Les Paul basses.
Really?
That's what I like. I like the look of it. I like the sound of it.
And then what kind of amp?
Use Ampeg.
Go with Ampeg, yeah.
All tube heads.
I have a really
and they're heavy as hell. Lifting those
Everything I have is heavy.
Until you break your back gigging with that
but
stuff.
It moves the air. The cabinet doesn't move. The air does.
Right.
That's the.
All right, we're gonna go through you guys real quick, one at a time. Guitar-wise, musically, what's your influence?
This is my favorite part.
Man, this will take forever.
How about a quick, like maybe two guys?
Two guys, real quick. I mean, just for guitar playing, Paul Gilbert.
Okay.
Is my favorite guitar player.
You know, someone else. I just interviewed someone else, and they said the same exact guy.
I mean, he really was a culmination. They're kind of that post Eddie Van Halen thing that started with Yngwie, the Shredders. He's really the guy that it kind of culminated and focused on, and he's still playing today. He's still putting out great music.
Right.
I mean,
wasn't he in Racer X?
He was in Mr. Big.
Right.
And then there's, I have no idea.
Poor dog.
He's got trouble.
But, and just there's a lot of other bands. They're just kind of for songwriting and stuff. I mean, we could get into it. That I've been listening to. Geez, I don't know. Guitar player wise, I like Alter Bridge a lot. That's a big influence. Tremonti and what we're doing. The bands, for this band, for kind of where we want to come from, or that space we want to occupy. I say Alter Bridge, I say Shinedown, and I say Stone Sour. That's kind of like the starting block. Just the heaviness. The melody, the melodic, where we want songwriting, yeah, and then we'll go from there. And another thing, it's everyone loves them, Led Zeppelin, but the thing about that, where I come from, is not so much that sound that you listen to me here in the '70s, but it's like they had a core sound, but they branched off. They played folk music, they played blues, they played heavy music, and
that was a lot, with Jimmy Page's writing.
Yeah,
and John Paul Jones.
But to me, I think a lot of other bands miss that. They dial in on what they do, and then it's just that over and over.
Right.
So I definitely like to, we've got our core sound. We know where we want to be, and then we go off a little bit. Go, take a little experience. So.
All right, Jesse.
Pearl Jam.
So Eddie Vedder kind of guy.
Yeah, no. It was. I'd say, two guys, Eddie Vedder, Lane Staley.
Right. And I hear, like I was telling you earlier, I really hear, some of that influence in your album with your vocal style in certain parts where it's that early Alice in Chains, the heavy, facelift type stuff.
I won't go too far into it, but I liked Lane Staley. Lane Staley and Eddie Vedder were those two guys that aren't afraid to crack their voices. They're not afraid to not be perfect, and they're not afraid to give into emotion. If you listen to them play live, especially Vedder, he's just a person that, like to take example like Maynard. I've seen Tool play live before, and if he misses one word. If he misses a note, if his voice cracks, he drops that mic and walks off stage, gets pissed off, comes back a song later, finishes the set. And that's the perfectionist in him. And I appreciate that for what it is, but Vedder's just kind of one of those guys where if he fucks up a word or if he goes off key, he's not afraid to.
It is what it is.
Song,
it's what it is.
It's the emotion of it. I've seen him belt out lyrics before. And his voice is completely shatters, but it shatters in that perfect way. You know what I mean? And so I would say lyrically, I'm definitely driven by Eddie Vedder and his stage persona, but vocally, I'm definitely Lane Staley. Okay. Just that nasally, but not too nasally.
Well, he did have a lot of power too.
Oh God!
Some of those screams.
Yeah, dude, guy's amazing.
All right, Ron. Give me a couple bass players.
Definitely when Steve Harris. Definitely when I was younger.
Steve.
I learned a lot.
Yes.
I learned a lot of different stuff from him. I don't particularly use it that much anymore, but it was a good thing to branch.
When you think about strength as a bassist, you think about Steve Harris and stamina.
And
he
had a certain tone that kept it cut through.
Right.
You could still hear the guitars, but the bass was prominent. Maybe they just raised him a little more level in the record, but. Other than that, I'm a big Rammstein fan.
Okay.
And then whoever plays for Stone Temple Pilots, I don't know who that guy is.
The Leo brothers.
Yeah, the brothers.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff.
What about
the Stone Sour guy? I don't know these guys' names, but I hear this stuff. I like some of the stuff. I don't need a weather report.
Yeah. Oh, you dropped it! What about like Victor Wooten?
And then also the dude who plays for Garbage. I don't know his name, but I like some of the stuff he does too.
Butch Vig on drums, man.
Yeah. So these are guys that they're not playing the same lines as the guitars. No, I'm not really. I like Geezer because I don't really try to do what he does.
What about Ron Paul?
Ron Paul.
This guy's a politician, dude.
I was about to say the same thing. All right, we're gonna jump over to Jason. Give me a couple drummers.
Oh yeah, real quick. I mean, like back in the day, obviously where I started, Tommy Lee, Molly Crew, Bunny Carlos, Cheap Trick.
Wow,
I can play Shout at the Devil beginning to end, and I can play Live at Budokan beginning to end. That's where I sat there when I was a kid.
Right.
Just play. As of for now, like a lot of people that I'm really influenced now. So you got Morgan from Seven Dust.
Right.
He is just, I'm just into all his playing, his theatrics. I've got to sit there on the side stage and just watch him, few nights in a row, and I just
He's
cannot
definitely
stop
a
watching.
force behind the kit, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got Ryan, who's in this I Empire. I'm not sure if you heard of these
I
guys.
have heard of them.
They're man. You watch the kid Ryan play, man.
Okay.
He's one of the most badass up and coming drummers you're gonna see. He's also kind of a Tommy Lee thing, but he's so intricate, man. With the way he plays and everything, it blows me away. So I'm inspired by that stuff.
You know, you look at it this way too, and there's always, even when you see a guy that you think just blows your mind, in 2 months you're going to see another guy that's twice as good as him, and that's the good thing about like hard rock and metal.
Yeah, that I will say that, but at the same time, like that's only if you get caught up in technical stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you can't match heart. Like that can never be replaced.
True.
Can I throw at Randy's real quick? Randy Cooper's. I can definitely.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Let's talk about some of his.
Dimebag Darrell, Ace Frehley. He's got great stories about both of those. I cannot tell them. He tells them fantastic. And I think another one of his is Benesse. But that's a whole nother time.
Maybe we'll do that on the next one.
Yeah. But I just want to throw that.
We'll get his permission.
And I know he likes the dude from Adrenaline Mob. He's mentioned.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that guy's a good guitar player. I shot them
really
before.
strange, different new things.
Yeah.
You know what? The funny thing is on the note of Randy. Me and Randy musically don't have too much in common. But I will say he has mentioned on many occasions, like me and him have Alice in Chains. Like he's a big Jerry fan because he comes from the same kind of area.
Texas area, right?
The Oklahoma kind of area, he's got a real big. He surprised me all the time. Like when you look at Randy, you wouldn't think it, and he'll bust out some Alice in Chains licks, and I'm like, damn, like where'd that come from? And he's like, man, I love Jerry. Yeah. So he's definitely.
I've shot him at last. I think it was last year's Will Rock Fest, or maybe 2 summers ago. But it was Texas Hippie was on there.
Yeah, sure.
And he was playing a Dimebag guitar, right?
Yeah, the Razorback.
Yeah.
Real quick,
and I watched him play. He was great.
He's a Dean player and a Marshall player.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that in because he wasn't here to say that.
And he just rips it, man. Jesse, real quick, what influences you spiritually?
Spiritually, like I'm not a religious person per se. I wouldn't call myself a person that really clings to one religion, but I will say that I do believe in something bigger, than us.
A higher power.
Yeah, a higher power. I've heard the term like agnostic before. I've thrown that out once or twice in conversation that I believe that there's something bigger, but I would say from what I understand as a spiritual thing, or a moment that is spiritual, in just the definition of what the word means, which is to be
inspired,
to be touched on such an incredible level. As cheesy as it sounds, being a musician, I would say the closest I've ever been to God is music, man. Like there's something about it where like it can change your mood. Like I've heard a song before, like as cheesy as it sounds, like I will hear "Smells Like Teen Spirit" at certain moments, and I will remember when I was 13,
where you were,
in the
what
room,
happened,
the way it smelled, what clothes I was wearing, the way my hair was in my face, and I also remember opening my eyes that first time and food tasting different and colors being more vibrant. And if that's not spiritual, then I don't know what is. So and the craziest thing is the fact that I can put on an album like 10. And an album like Facelift to this day, know every single word, and it still give me chills. Like that's, that's the exact same feeling I think people have when they pray and when they have moments with God. So, You know, I would say that.
Okay, all right, we're gonna wrap it up. Jason, I always throw this question out there since you're a drummer. I'm a huge Maiden fan. Clive Burr or Nico McBrain?
Nico.
Nico. What do you say?
Nico.
I don't know either one of them.
Okay.
Oh, Nico, of course.
Really? Yeah. Okay. And now we're just gonna ask Dickinson or Diano?
Oh, you're gonna hate it. Dickinson. That's what I grew up with.
Dickinson.
Yeah, I would say Dickinson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Dickinson.
Yeah.
Wow, so you guys are all in agreement
Yeah.
pretty much about this. I always like to just throw that in there for a fun question.
Sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I should have said Blaze Bailey.
Well, wait. My question to you is Megadeth or Metallica?
I'm a Megadeth guy.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting.
I know.
Because you're a guitar player, and
Yeah,
they both are very.
I kind of know David Ellefson, and I just love. For as much as Mustaine is, if he's liked or hated, I just think his songwriting. He's been doing it for like 20 years, and
Yeah.
he just shreds, man.
Yeah.
Anything
Except for Risk.
he's always got great players around him.
I mean,
too, you know.
Broderick is like a machine.
Yes,
that
he
dude
is.
is like
Yeah.
crazy good. But
All
yeah.
right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Why don't you just tell everyone your info as far as all your Facebook stuff and all of that?
Well, it's emperorsandelephants.com. You know, that's up and running, and that'll take you anywhere to Twitter, Facebook,
I mean, I'm thinking about starting an Instagram
Okay.
just for the band.
Instagram. Yeah. So I mean, it's,
And one of the biggest things I like to always say is like none of us are rock stars. So if you check us out on Facebook, feel free to add any of our personal pages and just say what's up.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right on. All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up. This is Fly from ChyTownRocks.com with Emperors and Elephants.
Yeah.